Hey everybody, I'm back. It's Mike, and I'm ready to do some Hare Krishna updates and talk about some bullshit, some bullshit in this cult. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. Well, I got a lot of people here already. Dan, I want to thank Dan for being here. How you doing? Hey Dan, and then Liam, thanks for being here. It's so exciting to do another show. We got Jeff in the house here. Good day. How you doing, Jeff? And we got Trey. How you doing, Trey? And Hayden. I'm glad you're back, Hayden. It's good to see you here. And how was the Thai birthday party? It was so much fun. So much fun. And let's see. So, okay, we're gonna get right into this Krishna birthday party. Is what we're gonna be talking about. The Krishna birthday party. I got knitting cult lady. I've got some new Hare Krishna bullshit, and then I got some other stuff from the Hare Krishna news. Hopefully, I get to everything, and it won't take 2 hours. Hey, Glenn, glad to see you here, man. It's great everybody's here. Let's get right to it. Let's get going. And we got the new opening. I'm so excited about the new opening. Here we go.
Hello?
Hello.
Man, I just love that new opening. That new opening is especially with the wheel at the end, the wheel spinning around. Oh man, whoever made that, they really went all out on that one. And what about that face of Kirtananda popping up? Is that scary or what? It's like it's like if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. Hey, we got Queen of Karma. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you here. I see your posts on YouTube all the time, and so it's really great to see you here. I'm honored to have your presence here. I really, seriously, I'm not joking. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. It's great to see you here. So, where to start? Where to start? I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with knitting cult lady because that's really she's really good. So I got to start with that. Let's see. Here she is, and this is a good one because she's talking about cult talk and how cult leaders speak, and it's very important. And I'm gonna let her talk about it, and then I'm gonna put my 2 cents in. So here we go.
It's called trance talk, and cult leaders tend to be very accomplished at it.
Oh,
Example of trance talk was to send
okay.
people
I'm
to watch
sorry.
the
Let me go
vow.
back. Let me turn her up. She has audio problems just like I do.
Trance talk, and cult leaders tend to be very accomplished at it. And used to be my favorite example of trance talk was to send people to watch The Vow to see Keith Raniere of Nexium do it. Now it's literally just the last presidential debate. This is what I have written about Trump speak, trance talk, in The Culting of America, the new book. Trance talk, hypnotic speech, and emotional control. Cult leaders don't just speak, they perform. Trance talk is a term that gained popularity in the late 20th century in the pseudoscientific fields of neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy. It's hypnotic, rhythmic style of speech that lulls listeners into an emotionally heightened state, making them more open to suggestion. Jim Jones, like so many evangelical and Pentecostal preachers today, started his sermons slow, his voice calm and repetitive, then built to a fever pitch, whipping his congregation into an emotional frenzy. It wasn't just what was said, but how he said it. The pacing, volume shifts, and intensity. By the time he was shouting his words, his followers were feeling them. On the infamous death tape, the recording of his speech in Jonestown that can blah blah blah, we're going to skip that part. His grip was absolute. A rhetorical analysis of that final speech shows how calculated his manipulation was. He leaned hard on emotion, pathos, painting a world full of enemies and danger. He used ethos, his supposed authority, to position himself as their only protector. And while occasionally he threw in bits of logos, logic wasn't the goal. Jones knew that if he could get his followers to feel what he was saying, they wouldn't stop to analyze whether it made sense. And in the end, most of them didn't. L. Ron Hubbard took a different approach, crafting a hypnotic language of jargon, engram, auditing, suppressive person, that made Scientology feel exclusive. The more complicated it sounded, the more special it felt. If you didn't quite understand, that just meant you had more to learn, like you were working toward unlocking some ultimate hidden truth. The mystery was the hook. Once you buy into the belief system, you're already halfway. Once you buy into the language, you're already halfway into buying into the belief system. Keith Raniere of NXIVM perfected the rambling philosopher act with lectures that were long-winded, circular, and vague, yet followers believed they contained profound truths. If people didn't understand, they assumed it was their failure, not his. This word salad is a common control tactic. Keep followers doubting themselves instead of the leader. Donald Trump, too, uses repetitive, emotionally charged slogans like fake news, witch hunt, lock her up. More than catchphrases, they're chants, mental shortcuts that simplify complex ideas, bypass critical thinking, and reinforce his version of reality. Like Raniere, his zigzagging speeches rely more on emotional resonance than coherence. You may not be able to explain what Raniere or Trump just said, but you sure know how it made you feel. Why does trans talk work? It bypasses logic, taps straight into emotion, and makes followers feel like they're part of something special, something only they truly understand. From religion to politics,
Okay, I think we get it. So, as it pertains, of course, all the Hare Krishnas and ex Hare Krishnas that are that are watching, they know exactly what she's talking about. And the reason I love her and I show her videos is because she doesn't really know a whole lot about Hare Krishna. She knows about a lot of cults, and she's very educated in cults. She knows a tiny bit about the most she knows about Hare Krishna is that it's a cult, and it ticks off all these boxes. She doesn't really care about all the details of Hare Krishnas like we do, but everything that she says applies to the Hare Krishna. So all of you Hare Krishnas out there that are watching, you have to ask yourself, she's been right about the showers. She's been right about the underwear. She's been right about the shunning and everything. She's right about everything. She's not talking about Hare Krishna, but everything she says applies to the Hare Krishna cult, including this trans talk. And all the Hare Krishnas know that Prabhupada, when he spoke, like L. Ron Hubbard, when Prabhupada spoke, it was a performance. He chanted before, he sang his little prayers, he did his whole little thing, he had expressions on his face, he used his hands, he did the word salad and the circular arguments, he did all of that. He used his own jargon with, this is Maya, and he used Sanskrit words. He combined them, Sanskrit and English. He'd throw in those verses to emphasize whatever nonsense he was saying. He could just pull verses out of the air and say, yes, just like in Bhagavatam, canto whatever. Queen Kunti says this. But it wasn't so much what he was saying, because it was all bullshit. It was how he was saying it. And just like she said, he could talk word salad and word jugglery, and just do all the same things that he criticizes others for doing. She didn't care because it made you feel, I'm a Hare Krishna, and we're on a mission, and this is Lord Chaitanya's movement, and it's coming from, he's a pure devotee, and this is coming from Krishna, and that was more important. That was more important than the logic. There's no logic that there's a demon head eating the moon. But when Prabhupada would sit there and he would lecture, and he would talk about karma, and talk about demons, and talk about sinful activities, and talk about four regulative principles, and work his word salad and his circular arguments, and he got to the point where he's talking about the demon head eating the moon, you didn't care. You're like, sure, demon head eating the moon. It didn't matter. Logic didn't matter. It was the emotion. It was the connection that you felt to Prabhupada when he's putting on this performance. Just like you connect with a great character in a movie, or a character in a movie that gives a speech or something. It's all made up. It's not even real. But you go, wow, you remember in Scarface when he's like, say hello to my little friend. These are the things. It's the emotion that gets to you. The movies are not even real, but people remember these lines, these famous lines from famous movies. Why? Because it connects with them. Something that says, you can't handle the truth. All these great lines that come is, why do we remember those? Because it's an emotional connection we have with them. We have an emotional connection with the words and the performance and the way the guy's saying it. So when Prabhupada's talking about women are less intelligent and women like to be raped and 11-year-old girls and all of these things, it goes right past your critical thinking that women have small brains and are less intelligent. It goes right to the emotion of like, yeah, yeah, women. I don't like women. Women are stupid. Aren't they stupid? Aren't they stupid? I mean, I'm always fighting with my wife, my girlfriend. She never understands anything. Yeah, Prabhupada's right when he says women are stupid. It's amazing how much this is like sent Matt. I'm not sure who that is or whatever, but yeah, this is talking. But we're gonna get to more examples of this. I got a lot of stuff to show. So the other thing I wanted to show is one of these swamis, the swami that was collecting donations so he could go to Rishikesh and he could do his Guru Palooza on the donations of his disciples and followers sending him money so he could fly to India and rent an ashram and bring all his women with him, like his harem and his little band, and he could have his little festival all on the dime of his followers, right? That's what he's going to do. So evidently this guy, this guru, he's got a son. Evidently he had a wife at one time. I think maybe his wife and him joined when they were young, and I don't know what happened, but anyway, he's got a son. So his son's got this business, and I'm not even sure where this business is located because I didn't really check it out. What I did check out was he's got this business, and here he is. Here's the founder, and this guy's the CEO. He's Gora Tibbets. This is the son of the guy who had his disciples pay for his trip to Rishikesh so he could go on vacation and have his little Guru Palooza. And so now here Gora, of course his name is Gora, which is a good Krishna name, Gora Tibbets, CEO of this, I don't know, I guess it's a tablecloth company, but I guess they sell tablecloths to like fancy restaurants or whatever. I don't know. The guy's driving. Look at this fancy car the guy's driving. He's driving a pretty fancy car. And hey, I'm not saying you can't have a nice business. I'm not saying that you can't be a businessman and have a nice business, but I just have to question the idea of where, this guru and his son, this guru's got money. And that's the whole point is he's got money. He's got his son fixed up with his business, and he's just collecting donations. And where do those donations go? Did his donations go to pay for this business that he hooked his son up with? From what I understand is that the father guru guy hooked his kid up with this business. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's Guru Junior right there in this, pretty fancy looking car, cruising around France, checking out the wineries or whatever he's doing. So I don't know. I don't know if there's something there or not, but I don't know. I thought I'd bring it up because it was brought to my attention, and it could be not. It could be all. Hey, come on. But it could be. It could be. It could be. It could be. Everything could be on the up and up. So I'm not. I'm just saying. Look at Guru Palooza's son right there in his fancy car. That's what I'm trying to say. So. That's what wow, look at me. I'm all, whoa. Hey, I didn't even know I could do that. So, let's see. I wanted to get into it with, okay, so a lot of, I got some viewers in Australia, and they've asked me about what's going on in Australia. And I really don't know. I really don't know a whole lot, but I did find this video. And this is a short, little, quick video of what's going on in Australia. And this is actually ISKCON Perth. So this is ISKCON Perth, and this is what's happening in Australia. And I'm going to talk about it as well because this is interesting. Okay, so right there you can see everything that I've been talking about. You've got these little girls right there, and they're being groomed. They're being groomed to be victims. They're being groomed to be abused. They're being taught in these books that women are less intelligent and that women like to be raped and women have small brains and they don't need to get an education and they need to be subservient to men. And they need to always be under the protection of a man. So these little girls right here, they have really, if they stay in this Hare Krishna movement, which I believe they are, these little kids right here, they have no future. These little girls really have no future. In fact, when they turn 11, that's when they really are going to enter dangerous times. 11 years old is when they are going to be starting to be groomed to be wives because they're going to need to be a wife by the time they're 13. And they will actually, like that lady said in the other video, they approached her. Hey, you're 13. Your daughter looks pretty good. She's beautiful. Would you consider her a wife for my 37-year-old creepy son who wants a 13-year-old wife? Fuck no, I don't. I'm giving you my 13-year-old daughter to your creepy ass son. What does it say? Radha Scammy that preaches Sarat Shabad Yoga, where the Ekankar cult I cover originated from. This is so similar. Yeah, it's so similar because all cults are the same. They're all the same. It doesn't matter if it's Scientology, Ekankar, Children of God, Jehovah's Witness, Hare Krishna. They all follow the same blueprint. They just have different details. But the really sick thing about this is that these girls are in danger. These little girls are in danger. This cult is going to come for these girls. By the time they're 13, the cult is coming for them. And their only mode of survival is to leave the cult and not become a 13-year-old wife. That's what's going to happen to these little girls. And and I know a lot of you out there are like going, Mike, you're out of your mind. Watch my past videos. I read letters and videos of women that were married when they were young. These women are speaking out. It's still going on. This is happening. This happened a few years ago. This lady says they approached her. She got out of the cult. She said, they're coming for my daughter. They're coming for my daughter. Got to have the men over on the other side of the room and the other women on the other side of the room because they don't want no mixing. No mixing. Raping is okay, but mixing is no. You can't hang out together. Just if a man wants to rape a woman or smack her around a little bit, that's fine. But don't sit together or dance together or hold hands or anything. Don't show any kind of love or affection or attraction to the woman, because the woman's evil. She needs to go over there, unless you want to have sex with her, and then you can just take her and you can have sex with her, and then when you're done, you just toss her away. And we're going to get to that in just a moment too. But this is how it starts. It starts young. It starts with these little kids, with the young girls, where they prime them. They're reading these books. They're learning that the perfect wife, the perfect daughter, the perfect everything is a woman who shuts up and doesn't say shit, takes it, gets smacked around a little bit. That's okay. You're going to be under your father is in control of you now. And then when you get married, then your husband's going to be in control of you. And then you're going to have kids, and then your grown kids are going to control you when you're an old lady. And then we'll just send you off to Vrindavan, and you can just be a widow when your husband dies, or when he goes off to the forest to be a monk. This is the life of a woman in the Hare Krishnas, and I'm not exaggerating. The only way a woman doesn't follow that life is if she gets out. If she gets out, or she says, I'm not doing that stuff. And then, hey, you're not following the rules. You're not following the rules. Yeah, Queen of Karma, I'm so honored to have you in here and even engaging, because you really know what you're doing. You've been doing this longer than me. So thanks for joining in, and thanks for the encouragement. So this is what they're doing in Australia. This is Australia. I wouldn't trust my kid around this place, even if they had like Secret Service. I would not around this. I wouldn't trust them even if they had Secret Service. I wouldn't trust them. No way. These people are crazy. So let's see. So check this out. Okay, I got a lot to say about this, because the more I think about it, the more insane it gets. The more insane it gets. And I don't even know where. There's so much insanity to talk about this thing. I don't even know where to start. So I'm just gonna show you this, and then I don't even know. I don't even know how I'm going to get to it. I don't even know how it's going to go. But what do we got here? We got no sound on this.
Hi, I'm your personal language tutor.
Available 24/7 on your phone.
Just 5 minutes every day.
And you can...
Okay, so this is the it says His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, 81st Vyasa Puj, which is another way of saying birthday party. Vyasa Puj celebration, August 19, 2025. Sridham Mayapur. I don't know what's wrong with the sound. I guess there is no sound on this part of the video. There's got to be sound. I don't know. So what they're doing is they're carting this person's photograph around. There's the founder. There's his photograph. And now here's this guru who passed away. I think he passed away like 20 years ago or something. I don't know. He passed away 10. I don't know. I'm not sure when he passed away, but he passed away. He's no longer here. I guess they're having audio problems on the video. But here they're carting his photo around with some flowers on it. And they're taking it around, I don't know, a little tour, giving his picture a little tour. And this is in India. This is in Mayapur, India. And they're having a whole little parade with his picture around the temple. And they're bringing it. Oh, they're bringing his picture in. They're gonna put it on a little chair. They're gonna put his picture on a little chair. And so these are all his followers. All his followers are doing this for him on his birthday. A fake human. Green cards are mental.income. Yes, absolutely.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
They have a whole little birthday party for him.
Ram, Hare Hare.
So he passed away a few years ago. I'm not sure how many years ago.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
So there's a couple things. There's a lot I want to say about this, and I don't even know where to begin. But first, I guess I got to begin with this is not normal. Okay, this is not, this is not normal. Even if this even this is not normal. Even if that was like, we don't do that in America, in the United States, for our presidents, or Martin Luther King gets a parade. Okay, Martin Luther King gets a parade in a lot of cities, but we don't really do parades for like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, or even John F. Kennedy or General Eisenhower. None of them get a parade. None of them get a parade. They're honored. They're already honored. They have statues, they have monuments, they have, buildings named after them. They have all those things. So we don't need to have a JFK Day parade, or a, Eisenhower Day parade, or a George Washington Day parade. We got Washington monuments, we got cities named after him, we got a state named after him, we got all these things. But Martin Luther King does have a parade, and that's a great honor, and he's a great man to have that. He probably deserves a parade, because he wasn't a president or someone to be honored with buildings and monuments and all of these things. He was just a reverend who led a movement. So in his honor, they've honored him with a parade. But other than that, we really don't parade people around like that. Like, even like, you could imagine, like, if my mother and father, who I bless their heart, they've are no longer here, passed away. They mean a lot to me, my mother and father, their memory, their honor. But I wouldn't take a picture of my mother and father, and I wouldn't create a parade and have all my friends and everything come out, and my family, and come out and say, hey, we're going to do this parade for my mom and dad, and I want to have a parade, and I want to honor them, and we're going to have a band, and we're going to do this, and we're going to parade their photographs down the street around, and we're going to put their pictures on some chairs, and then we're going to have this big birthday party for my mom and dad. People would think I'm nuts, okay? People would think I was nuts, and they'd go, nobody really does that. I mean, can't you just go to the cemetery and take them some flowers to their grave? Like most people do, or maybe, have a post honoring them on Facebook. I don't know, do what normal people do. Most people don't do that. So, and that's my mom and dad, right? That's like my parents, right? This is just some guy. This is just some guy. And you would think, okay, so what did this guy do? What did Gopal Krishna do? That he's having this birthday party and everybody's celebrating him with his photograph and all of this stuff. Like, what did he do? He must have done something. This guy didn't do shit. Okay, this guy didn't do nothing. I tried to look him up on Wikipedia. He has no Wikipedia page. He has no anything. He's just a guru. He's just some guy. He's just some guy that they think is some, like, they think that he was some God man, like he was some God man. But what did he do? What did he do? Now I understand the cult leader Prabhupada. He did a lot, right? He came over. He started this whole thing. He wrote these cult books. He started this cult. He's the cult leader. He did all of that. But what did this other guy do? What did this other guy do? He didn't do shit. That's how wacky these people are. Why are you parading this photo around? That'd be like me parading a photo of my friend Beer Lakshman or Radha Kunt. What did they do? Sell some beg with some books? Beg with books and get a team of beggars to beg with books? So now they're honoring this guy with a little parade and a whole little birthday party, and he's been gone for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I don't know how long he's been gone, but hey, come on. Get it together, people. What's up with this? Why are you doing this? What is it? It's mental illness. This is mental illness. Retards are us, mental incorporated. That's exactly what this is. It's exactly what this is.
Jaya Prabhupada.
Adjust that flower, because that flower wasn't right.
Gurudev.
Once again, you can see the women are on one side and the men are on the other side. So here's this guy. They're honoring this guy, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, 19th August, 2025. They're going to do a form fill up by all his disciples, and then they're going to welcome Guru Maharaj at the venue, which they just did. Then they're going to, I guess someone's going to speak. Oh no, they're going to bathe I don't know what they're, a deity. Then everyone's going to glorify him. They're all going to talk about how great he was. And they're going to offer some food and some flowers, and then they're going to sing and dance, and then they're going to eat the food. And so that's their big birthday party in absentia for this deceased individual. So not only did he did never really do anything, right? He never really did anything. Let's see what he did do, though. Let's see what we can find on what he did do. And this is from let's see who this guy was. Let's see who this guy was according to someone who knew him pretty good. This is from a webpage, and I advise everyone to go to this webpage called Hare Krishna Cult Exposed. And here it says, and I'm going to read it, but I just wanted to show you what it says here. And there you can see the author and her child right there. The author of this essay, that's her right there. And this is her webpage. And so it says here, Hare Krishna Swami's attempt to kill his wife and unborn child. It says, attempted murder in the second degree is a Class B violent felony punishable by 5 to 15 years imprisonment. The following is an account of a horrifying instance of criminal abuse, specifically attempted murder of both a pregnant mother and her unborn son at the hands of her so-called husband, who was then known as Gopal Krishna Das. Moreover, after he abandoned us and left me to raise our son without any financial assistance, he became a Swami in 1981 and became famous for his fundraising prowess, accumulating thousands of disciples in the process. Now that Gopal Krishna Goswami has learned his soul's fate at the hands of the Supreme Justice, it is time for his admirers and any interested parties to know the truth. I guess she waited so he wouldn't sue her. I don't know. But let me just say, this confirms what this confirms a queen of karma. Hey, will you get some sleep? And we'll see you next time. Really, you keep up the good work. And if all of you out there that want to know about cults and want to see some other streamers and other podcasters and other YouTubers and what they know about cults, check out Queen of Karma. She's really good. She's always posting great stuff. So thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. So this story here, right off the bat, it confirms what I've been saying about the Hare Krishnas. They just use women and then they just toss them to the side when they're done with them. They would just toss them to the side. So she says right here, after he abandoned us and left me to raise our son without any financial assistance, he became a Swami. So how does a man who just abandons his wife and child get to be a Swami? You would think that a Swami wouldn't do those type of things. I would imagine that a Swami is like someone who doesn't do those type of things. But evidently in the Hare Krishnas, Swamis can do whatever the fuck they want. He became famous for his fundraising prowess, accumulating thousands of disciples in the process. So fundraising, what fundraising means is begging with books, going around and telling people, and it doesn't matter. It can be anybody. It can be someone in a shopping center parking lot, or it can be the owner of a business. Buy these books. Like someone in a parking lot, they want to sell 1 or 2 books to that person. To the owner of a business, to a wealthy person, a wealthy Indian business owner, or just a wealthy whatever, they want them to buy a whole set of books, buy a whole set, everything. Not only buy a whole set, but donate money so we can build this temple, and we'll put your name, in a brick in the temple that says that you donated money. Give us $50,000. Give us $10,000. But that's all he's doing. And yeah, you can do that. That's pretty good. But that's all he's doing. He's not doing anything else. He's begging. He's begging people for money with books and promises of eternal life after death, or whatever. Dance, you'll become a gopi when you whatever he's trying to convince them of. That's all it is. That's all it is. So he became famous for that. So that she says, no good deed, she continues, no good deed goes unpunished. I should have run outside and asked somebody to call the police. People still tell me. But I was so frozen with shock that I could hardly move my feet. Besides, it was bitterly cold outside, even for New York City, in that December of 1972, when I was 8.5 months pregnant. I just stood there looking into Gopal Krishna's malignant, scowling face, frozen with the same fury that overtook him as he glared at my swollen belly and threw a heavy wooden office chair across the room directly at it. I am writing this today because I dodged the chair and it hit the plaster wall instead. As crimes go, this has to be one of the worst. The attempted murder of a wife in advanced pregnancy. What an evil, disgusting monster. He should be rotting in jail. And no, all of you apologists of the now ISKCON guru, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, this is not something you forget, ever. Impossible. Moreover, this so-called ISKCON guru and GBC for much of India, Canada, and Russia, whose birthday is celebrated by his reportedly 10,000 disciples during an annual Vyasa Puja ceremony filled with tributes and lavish festivities, escaped pain for his crime in the U.S. But if you do indeed believe in the laws of karma, his punishment still awaits him. I was, after all, just like you. I thought that my guru, in my case, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, could do no wrong, and I defended him vigorously and loved him dearly. It's just that, like you, I was underinformed and misguided. And there again, there is the picture of her again with her son. So she wrote this in 2016. So he must have passed in 2016 or 2015. Charles Vishvambar's Tao's mother was left twice by two idiots who wanted to become gurus. The second one, his father, left her pregnant with him. She ended up at the LA temple in the 80s. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is those little girls in the beginning when I showed you that video of those four little girls that were dancing in the ISKCON Perth, Australia temple. This is Australia. They have rights in Australia. They don't need to be in this cult where they're going to be groomed to be an abused woman, a domestic abuse woman, possibly like this woman who had a chair thrown at her when she was 8 months pregnant by this freak who thinks he's some kind of pure devotee. She goes on, she says, the nightmare of cruelty and cowardice was the culmination of the gross neglect I suffered at the hands of Gopal Krishna during my pregnancy. He never wanted a child, obviously. He didn't want the child. He wanted the sex. And even though it says in the books, and they lecture every day, every single day, they're talking about how you can't have sex for enjoyment. You can only have sex for children. And here this Gopal Krishna has this wife, has sex with her, and then she gets married, and he flips out because he doesn't want the kid. He doesn't want the kid. They don't give a shit about kids. If they don't even give a shit about their own kids. And they talk about karmis like karmis are these evil demons. And look at how these people treat their own, throwing a wife at his pregnant wife. He didn't think of her as his wife because they don't teach him that that's his wife. That's just some woman that he can use. This is a fucking disgusting cult. Those little girls, this is what they have to look forward to. Being married to somebody like Narayan. Screwing everything at the LA temple. Every friggin' woman there at one point was married to Narayan. Kroda Shamani. Ananga's mother. Lavanya. The other one. So I was blown away. I was like, who is this guy? Oh, he's one of ours. He's a Ritvik. He's one of our guys. Like, what? Oh yeah, Prabhupada said he was crazy when he was here. There's a quote where Prabhupada said that man's crazy. And I said, what? Oh yeah, half the kids on the street are Narayan as their dad. They had like 7 or 8 kids. Some of them grown, some of them babies. The guy was like 80 years old. Narayan was just using women like Leo DiCaprio. As soon as they got to a certain age, I'll cut them loose and grab another one. Or have another child. Have another baby. At least Narayan had kids. He wasn't throwing chairs at his wife. I don't know. He could have been doing that too. But at least his wives were having kids. He wasn't trying to have forced abortions. That's what this cult is about. I've been saying this. I've been saying this, I don't know how long, for like a year or whatever. And the more I do it, the more I investigate it, the more I scratch the surface, the more this shit pops up. And it's all relevant. All of this shit's relevant to everything I've been saying. And everything Knitting Cult Lady says. She says the same thing. Pedophilia, patriarchy, the trans talk, all the shit that she says applies 100% to the Hare Krishnas. Abusing women, abusing children. She goes on, by the time he wrote to our guru defaming me and wanting out of our arranged marriage, I was just 19 and never had a home since leaving my mother's house 2 years earlier. Yeah, she probably burned a bridge with her parents. They probably didn't want her to join the Hare Krishnas. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying this is usually what happened back then. 1972, she probably wanted to join. Her parents were like, "You can't join," and she was like, "I'm joining anyway. I'm running off to join the Hare Krishnas like the other girl did, like the 14-year-old did." But she was 17. She says she was 19, and she never had a home since leaving my mother's house 2 years earlier. So she left her mother's house when she was 17. And she says, I lived in the temple with the single women, and at Gopal Krishna's insistence, we went to a hotel once a month to try for a child. You heard it right. During this time, he had the temerity to complain to our guru about me and got this reply. See, these guys, they don't have, the honesty is not important. You don't have to be truthful. You can lie. You can lie and say whatever you want, by hook or by crook. Prabhupada says, by hook or by crook, you can lie to these people to get what you want. You can lie to them to build a temple. You can lie to them to get money to print books. You can lie to them to sell books. You can lie to them for anything. It don't matter. They lied to me. I went to the temple and I started asking questions. And years later, I found out they were lying to me. Just straight up lying to me. The guy told me his kids were in the Krishna school. His kids went to this school. He told me straight up to my face. Yeah, my kids are in the school. Yeah, my kids go to school. And then I find out, like 2 years later, his kids weren't in the school. A year later, I find out his kids aren't in the school. His kids go to the Catholic school across the street. The Catholic school across the street. He's sending his kids to the Catholic school across the street. He doesn't have them in the Hare Krishna school. But he didn't tell me that. When I asked him, he didn't tell me. He didn't say, hey, I ain't putting my kids in no fucking Hare Krishna school. Are you out of your mind? He didn't tell me that. He lied straight to my face and said, yeah. What else did they lie about? Everything. Every fucking thing they can lie about, they'll lie about it. Prabhupada's a scholar, man. He went to college and he was a scholar. He's a Sanskrit scholar. Prabhupada's the most scholarly Sanskrit Vedic scholar of all Vedic scholars. Bullshit. Truth not found. Waiting to load truth, and it's just spinning. It is spinning and spinning and spinning. He says this. He wrote, so during this time he had the temerity to complain to our guru about me and got this reply. This is the reply coming from the woman-hating Prabhupada. Okay, this is Prabhupada's reply. Your wife has proven turbulent. That is the grace of Krishna. So a difficult one. Who's saying she's difficult? She just got pregnant because this guy was banging her every week. The guy's banging her every week, and she got pregnant, and now Prabhupada says your wife has proven turbulent, but that's the grace of Krishna. So he complains that women are difficult, and women are like to be raped, and women are this, and women are that. He complains that Prabhupada says that women are all these things, and then he says that's the grace of Krishna, that women are so horrible we don't have to deal with them, that should drive us away from them. This is Prabhupada's mentality. This is Prabhupada going to give marriage advice now. After having sex with an 11-year-old girl when he was 22 years old, raping her because 11-year-old girls can't consent to sex in an arranged marriage. So that's just rape. That's just human trafficking. That's just child sex trafficking. So Prabhupada had sex with his trafficked bride when he was 22 and she was 11. Says, I didn't even love my wife. And now he feels qualified to give marriage advice to one of his male chauvinist disciples that he taught how to hate women. Now the two of them are going to hate women together. And of course, the letter goes on exactly as I predicted it would. I may inform you in this connection about my family life. Actually, I never liked my wife. I was going to marry another. But my father saved me from the danger, and he told me that you do not like your wife. That is the grace of Krishna. So his father was a woman hater, and he just taught his son to hate women too. So don't be worried about your wife, because that's what his father told him. Don't be worried about your wife. If she wants to remarry, let her do so, and you'll be free. And I shall give you sannyas, the renounced order, and you will be preaching freely. So Prabhupada didn't even think for a second that, hey, you wanted to get married like a year or two ago. You came to me and said, Prabhupada, I want to get married. And then, so we arranged a wife for you. And you married her. And now you don't want to be married anymore. Prabhupada doesn't say, well, maybe he's not ready for sannyas because his mind is not steady. His mind is not fixed upright. He's not really Swami-ish. He's not being Swami-ish. He's not acting Swami-like. He's not even acting devotional. He can't even fall in love with his wife that he was asking for, that he came and begged me for. Prabhupada doesn't think like that. Prabhupada doesn't think like, well, what's wrong with this guy? He wanted a wife and now he doesn't want a wife. And, we arranged his wife for him. And then, actually in Vedic culture, there is no divorce and remarry. Prabhupada says, hey, if she wants to remarry, let her do so. Man, none of this makes sense. But it makes sense when you know that Prabhupada is a friggin' woman-hating cult leader. Then it makes sense. But when you try to look at this as like, these are holy men, these are God men, holy men, spiritual leaders of a spiritual movement, an authentic spiritual movement, spiritual leader, they wouldn't act like this. Let alone throwing the chair at the pregnant woman. I mean, that's That takes a special kind of abuser to do that. I mean, that takes a really special kind of abuser to do that. You can't say every man would throw a chair at his, when he gets angry, he throws a chair at his pregnant wife. No, you can't just say that's like that. Every man would do that. No, that's a special level of fucking. That's a special level. That's like up here. Okay, that's turning it up to not just 11, but like turning it up to like 22. That's like way up. And so Prabhupada in his infinite wisdom says, let me give this guy sannyas. Let me make him, put him in the renounced order of life where he's supposed to just give up everything and just go preach. Like he seems like the perfect candidate for that. Like he seems like the perfect guy that can handle that position. He can't even handle being married and raising a kid. But he's definitely Swami material. That's what Prabhupada's thinking. I didn't like my wife. I'm Prabhupada. You know what? You're probably going to be just like me because you're doing the same thing I did. I didn't like my wife. You don't like your wife. Hey, we're two peas in a pod. I'll make you a sannyasi. Is that Prabhupada's infinite wisdom? Is that what? Yes, it is. Because that's why he made Kirtananda and all these other wacko fucking freaks. Who looks at fucking Keith Ham and says, oh yeah, he'll make a great Swami. Let me put him in charge of thousands of people's lives. Their spiritual life. Bhavananda. Sure. This guy who spent the first half of his life following Andy Warhol around. Hanging around with Andy Warhol and all his freaks. Partying and doing who knows what. Well, we do know what. We know exactly what he was doing. He was partying with Andy Warhol and all his freaks. And then he decides he's going to be a friggin' Hare Krishna holy man, spiritual leader. You gotta be out of your mind. And Prabhupada looks at this guy, this fucking Bhavananda, and says, yes, he'll make a great Swami. You gotta be out of your fucking mind, man. Jai Potato Head? I got a little Jai Potato Head. I got the world's smallest Jai Potato Head right here. Jai Potato Head? Prabhupada looks at him and says, I'm going to make him a Swami. And Rameshwar, that little fucking piece of shit, runs off with an underage girl, pedophile? That's what we call them, right? That's what we call grown men who run off with little underage girls. We call them pedophiles, right? Because I don't want to get it mixed up. We call them pedophiles. That's what we call them. Prabhupada couldn't see. Prabhupada can see past, present, future. Talks directly with Krishna. He's dictating these books. Doing all this shit. Krishna didn't bother to tell Prabhupada, hey, watch out for Kirtanananda. Watch out for Bhavananda. Watch out for Rameshwar. Rameshwar is going to run off with that underage girl, you know. He didn't tell him all that. Krishna didn't find that important. That little thing, Krishna's dictating these books. Prabhupada says, Krishna dictates these books to me. Krishna wants me to know all of this knowledge and put it all in these books. Oh, but Krishna didn't want you to know about the kids being molested in his schools. Krishna didn't want you to know about that. Krishna didn't want you to know that Gopal Krishna threw a chair at his wife and almost killed his unborn child. Krishna didn't want you to know that. Prabhupada would be going to court if he were alive right now. And he should be convicted of all the crimes he had committed. He could be, if Prabhupada was alive, these children could hold him responsible for creating the school, creating the movement, appointing the teachers, appointing the everything. And they could definitely hold him accountable civilly for all their pain and suffering that they suffered. They could have totally sued. They actually did, but he's dead. But they sued ISKCON and they won. They won $400 million. Wait, how do I make this big? There we go. What is the name of this abuser guru? Gopal Krishna Goswami. He just had his birthday a couple days ago, and they had a big celebration. You want to see? Let's see. Where is it? Let's glorify this guy. Tried to kill his wife and his unborn child, threw a chair at her, and then complained to Prabhupada that she was a problem, and Prabhupada said, yeah, she was turbulent. That's good. It's good that she was turbulent. Just go ahead, just leave her, and I'll give you sannyas. And so that's basically how that's how he became a sannyasi. Is he threw a chair at his wife, his pregnant wife, and Prabhupada rewarded him with sannyas. Pretty disgusting, huh? Pretty freaking disgusting. Pretty freaking disgusting. Krishna wanted Prabhupada to commit heinous crimes against humanity. What kind of... Whoops, what's going on? Yeah. None of their bullshit makes any sense at all. None of it makes any sense at all. None of it. Zero. Zero, zero, zero. Let me get back to what she has to say. Just like the 13-year-old bride and rape victim said on the podcast, Prabhupada should not be let off the hook. He taught and approved of these crimes himself. Absolutely. 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 So are you against the religion of this guru? I am against the Hare Krishna pedophile cult. Are you going to defend this pedophile cult? I'm absolutely against this pedophile cult. It's called the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. And it was created by this pedophile who had sex with an 11-year-old girl when he was 22 years old. And he taught all this bullshit pedophilia to his disciples. And they go around asking women for their 13-year-old daughters. Can I have your 13-year-old daughter for my 37-year-old son? Prabhupada brought poison to the West. Prabhupada totally brought the worst of India. He brought what India wants to shed themselves of. The caste system, the rape culture, child marriage. India wants the world, excuse me, they don't want the world to think of that when they think of India. India wants to come into the modern age and be a modern, progressive country. They don't want people to think that India is a place where women can't walk freely without the fear of being gang raped, where little girls don't have the fear of growing up and being raped and then murdered by their own family because they bring shame. They don't want to be a country where people think of it as child marriage, where little girls get married to grown men. They don't want India doesn't want that. All of these things that Prabhupada brought to the West is what India doesn't want people to think of when they think of India. But Prabhupada wants you, the Hare Krishnas want you to think of that. They want to have their festivals and call it the Festival of India, and then spread all their disgusting bullshit about India to the public. All their bullshit cult crap, they want to pretend like that's India culture. All their pedophilia and their racism and their sexism and all the shit that India doesn't want to be associated with anymore. India doesn't want the world to turn on the TV and see that another woman was gang raped on a bus in Delhi or on the metro in Delhi or walking through a park in Delhi. They don't want the world to turn on the TV and see a story about how a little girl was gang raped and then the father took her and murdered her because she brought shame to his family. They don't want that. Dang, I never knew this about ISKCON. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here and you can learn about this stuff. If they don't want you to know about it either. They don't want you to know about it either. Absolutely, they don't want you to know. This is what they want you to know. They want you to think about this stuff. They want you to think that they got these two holy men sitting on these chairs with flowers and like, oh, these are the greatest guys that ever lived. These are the greatest guys that ever lived. That's what they want you to think. In 1996, Narai Maharaj and another evil man, follower of Prabhupada, who told his disciples to take saffron, abandoned their underage children at the Badger Gurukula, go to India and do bhajan. He died in 2010. Yeah, they tell them to just abandon their kids. Just abandon your kids to some boarding school. And they don't even know anything about it. They're thinking, oh, it's Hare Krishna, better than a Karmi school. Why don't you put your kids up for adoption? Put them in a foster home. Send them off with a relative. Why you got to drag your child into your friggin' delusional cult? Do the right thing, and you say, hey, I'm gonna go cosplay as a fucking Hare Krishna freak, and tell your sister, will you take my child and raise her because I'm an irresponsible parent. I'm so irresponsible. I'm just gonna go off to India and be a friggin' nut. That's how irresponsible I am. I got 3 kids, but I want to just go cosplay as a 15th century Bengali. I mean, like me telling my brother, hey, will you raise my daughter while I want to go become a medieval knight and travel around the country, battling, reenacting middle ages wars in the Battle of Norfendorf or something. That's what I want to do for the next 10 years. Can you watch my kid while I go pretend I'm knight Mockinslok and I'm going to go fight a war of Mordor somewhere? People say, fucking lock me up. You're going to lock me up. They throw me in jail. They go, that's child endangerment, man. You can't, what's wrong with you? You can't, I can't, you mean I can't go cosplay as a hobbit and put my kid in a boarding school while I go cosplay as a hobbit and LARP around as a friggin' Frodo or something? I can't do that? And just abandon my kid? No, you can't. I mean, you can, but they're gonna fucking lock you up for abandoning your kid and fucking going off and being an idiot. You can't. But for the Hare Krishna, it's no big deal. Hey, yeah, I'll just go put my kid in Badger in a boarding school in Badger, and I'm gonna just go off to India and dress up like a fucking monk. It's freaking insane. It's freaking insane. And look at and then not only am I going to put my kid in a boarding school and go off to India to go follow some douchebag like this. It's not like, hey, can you watch my kid while I go to Harvard for 4 years and get a degree, and then I'll come back and I'll pick up my kid after I got my 4-year college degree. I can't become. That's still kind of weird, but at least I can understand. I mean, as weird as that would be, I can understand. Hey, can you watch my kid? You know, you're gonna go live with grandma, and I'm gonna go, to Harvard for 4 years. But when I come back, hey, I'm gonna be a doctor, and then we're gonna, I can understand. Maybe I can understand that, but not. I'm gonna put my kid in a boarding school up in friggin' Badger, California, with some strangers, while I go run off to India and cosplay as a fucking transgendered homosexual fucking crazy man. You fucking insane. My uncle wanted to join ISKCON a few years ago. Luckily, he couldn't maintain the vegetarian diet with no onions and garlic and wasn't able to join. I'm so glad that that story turned out well. I'm so glad that you're like, he didn't join, and you didn't say that because one guy came in here and said, my grandmother died and my brother got a book and now he's in India milking a cow. And he won't talk to us. And now he's a disciple of Devamrita Swami, another nut just like this. Devamrita's got him under his thumb like a friggin' thumbtack. Guy can't move. Guy can't take a shit without telling Devamrita what he's doing. Guy can't take a shit without telling Devamrita what he's doing. Good for you. Your uncle's a smart man. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. He dodged a bullet, okay? He dodged a bullet, and that bullet had his name on it. That bullet had his name on it. Yeah, absolutely, man. And your name is Das, so I thought you were Hare Krishna. And I thought you were a Hare Krishna. Your name is Das, but I guess maybe you're Indian, and your name is Das. So I apologize for that. They want you to stay vegetarian, no onion and no garlic, yet it's okay to abuse women and children at the temple. Prabhupada was doing snuff the whole time. None of it makes sense. He's married an 11-year-old girl. That's what I'm saying. It's like if they find out at the LA temple, if you're hanging around the LA temple and they find out that you smoking cigarettes when you're not at the temple, and you're smoking pot and you're not at the temple, and maybe you got a non-devotee girlfriend and you're having sex with her, so you're breaking every thing, but you're going to the temple, they're going to look down on you. They're going to look down on you. Oh, don't hang out with him because he smokes cigarettes, he drinks beer, he does all these things. He's not really a devotee. He's kind of he's iffy. But Bhavananda, Rameshwar, they can be pedophiles. They can go right to Mayapur and get their red carpet treatment. They don't care about that. They care about the onions and the garlic and having a hamburger. That's important. Touching little girls like Indra Yumna Swami, or like when that guy stood up and said in the temple room, and he's like saying, "Hey, I have some questions about all these children that you abused in the school," and all of a sudden they jump up and they attack the guy. They jump up and attack the guy. They don't want to hear about abused children. We don't want to hear about abused children because we don't give a fuck about the abused children. But I'm sure if they stood up and said something about, "Hey, this guy's eating onions. I saw him eat some onions yesterday," or "I saw him eating a cheeseburger," all hell would break loose. Das is a famous last name in India. It's like Smith, okay? It's like Smith. It's like Jones or Williams. It's like the most common name. Like one of the 5 most common names in India. So fluid veggies. Milking cows, man. Gotta milk those cows. So let's get back to what she says here. So she says, so this was in May of 1972. This was the letter that Prabhupada sent to Gopal Krishna, where he says, let her do so and you'll be free. See, he says, you'll be free. Like she's a pain in the ass, and it's better that you're just free of her. Not like, well, not like, well, this is marriage. This is what married life is. You have your ups and downs. You have your rounds and rounds. You have, you guys are supposed to be coming together in Krishna consciousness. And when you guys are together in Krishna consciousness, you will be stronger. And then with all that strength, you can serve me and go out and beg and sell more of my books. No, probably didn't say that. He didn't say you can love each other and find a real bond. And love is such a beautiful thing between a man and a woman. And then you can have children and you can raise that child in Krishna consciousness, which is another great thing. It's such a great thing to see the creeper sprout in a young child. And you can see the Krishna consciousness naturally take hold in that child as they grow to become a great devotee. And you're going to be great devotee parents. No, he didn't say that either. He could have said many things to encourage these two people or encourage this Gopal Krishna to go back to your wife and try again to be a good husband. And if you're a good husband, I guarantee you, she will be a good wife. And if she's a good wife and you're a good husband, you're bound to have good children. And what this movement needs is good children. This is what my books say. My books say that we need to protect women. How can you be protecting your wife if you just want to discard her and leave? No, he didn't say anything like that. Nothing like that. He said what he says right here. I never liked my wife either. I was going to marry another woman, but my father said, no, don't do that. And you know what? You don't like your wife? That's the grace of Krishna. So good for you. Don't be worried about your wife. Fuck her. If she wants to remarry, fuck it. Let her do so. And you'll be fucking free, and I'll give you sannyas, and then you can go and you can preach nicely, and you can sell even more of my goddamn books. What a fucking piece of shit. He's supposed to be some holy man, some God man, holy man who can see past, present, future, who's talking to Krishna. So did Krishna tell him to say that? Hey, by the way, Krishna's the one who told me to tell your wife to fuck off, okay? Krishna's the one who says that he doesn't give a shit about your wife. Let her go. Is that directly coming from Krishna? What a piece of shit. So now Gopal Krishna thinks that what Prabhupada's saying is coming directly from God. Yeah, I don't have to care. I don't have to give a shit about my wife. Fuck my wife. And what is the woman thinking what's the woman thinking all of this? I know exactly what she's thinking in all of this. She's going to tell us what she's thinking in all of this. She's going to tell us right now what she's thinking about all this. It's insane. It's freaking insane. Nobody looks at these things the way I do. Nobody that I know of. Nobody's got the balls to just say it as it is. And I'm not saying nobody has the balls to do it. It's just that I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now for the benefit of all of you out there watching. Because no one's going to talk to you like this. No one's going to tell you how it is. Probably didn't give a fuck about this man and this wife. All he cared about was his books. He didn't give a shit. And all he knew is that as long as these two were fighting, his books weren't getting sold. Well, better to fucking fix this problem so I can get these two people out selling my books. Just leave her and go sell my books, and then she'll be free, and she'll go sell my books too. So, fuck her. He doesn't say in this letter, well, let me find out from your wife what's going on, and then I'll make a decision as to what we're going to do. No, he didn't do that either. Probably didn't do anything that is even remotely the right thing to do as a holy man. He's just like, fuck your wife. So she goes on and she says, trouble is, I was a few weeks pregnant at the time. After he showed the letter to me, I informed him of my condition, much to his surprise. Shortly thereafter, he casually told me that he had called our guru's personal secretary and asked him if he should take sannyas anyway, and that he was told to wait until after the child was born. Imagine, what a cruel, inhuman thing to say to your pregnant, teenaged wife. I still had to live in the temple with the woman and eat the spicy, ill-prepared food. When I insisted that Gopal give me $2 a week to buy a few cups of yogurt to supplement my diet, he gave it to me grudgingly for a while. Now, $2 was a lot in 1972. And all the while calling me a prostitute for asking him for money. And so to him, child support or alimony is being a prostitute. Imagine that. Imagine a guy who lives on the donations of strangers, selling a guy's book, who goes out in a dhoti and a kurta, who doesn't provide anything to society except books filled with pedophilia, racism, sexism, and homophobia. He's spreading that around like a fucking leech, like a fucking worse than a leech, like a fucking, I don't know, what do you call it? A fucking disgusting piece of shit. And he has the nerve to call her a prostitute because she wants $2 a week. This guy lives on fucking begging. And he has the nerve to call her a prostitute. This guy is such a piece of shit. That's what I'm saying. Prabhupada picked the biggest pieces of shit to make gurus and sannyasis. He either picked the biggest pieces of shit or he turned them into the world's biggest pieces of shit. I saw your most recent video. Is it true Hare Krishna gurus cannot sit beside women? Absolutely not, unless you're Indra Yumna Swami. If you're Indra Yumna Swami, you can have little girls on your lap and you can rub all over them and touch them and do all of that shit. See, people get upset because Joe Biden is affectionate towards little girls like a grandfather. Because he acts like a grandfather to a young child, and just, he doesn't do anything wrong. He's just like an old man. And they're like, oh, look at Joe Biden. He's being creepy. He's being creepy with this little girl. But when you see Indra Yumna Swami with his hands all over these little girls, and the little girls are like, Mama, get him away from me. And the women are just like, I don't see anything wrong with this. And he's just rubbing them and touching them. It's fucking disgusting. That shit is disgusting. So, and if you're Hridayananda Swami, you can get massages from young women and you can have young women around you. But usually, these ISKCON gurus don't want to be around women because they hate women. They hate them. They hate them. Just like that guy was saying, Christopher Hitchens was saying. They hate that they need women. These men, they need women. But they hate that they need them. They don't like that they need women. They don't like that women give birth and that society needs women. They don't like that. So they degrade them and they make them second-class citizens and they put restrictions on them and they treat them like shit, domestic abuse, and they take out all that frustration on the woman. Because the woman's the one that bears the children and she's needed in society. She has to exist. And they don't like that. A book with all evidence regarding this Prabhupada should be published. He needs to be exposed for his crimes to humanity. This evil psychopath with delusion of grandeur and existential crisis. So Hayden, you got to keep that thought in mind, because when we get to the next part in just a second. No saffron monks can sit next to women, let alone talk to them. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to. Fuck that hole. So she says, after a few months, he decided that I should go to India to live with his parents until the child was born, but it was unendurable because their apartment was too small and they barely got along. Incidentally, the claim made by Bhakti Charu Swami that Gopal Krishna was born into an aristocratic family is pure hogwash. His parents were a thoroughly respectable sort of people, and his father had indeed retired from the Navy, but aristocratic they were not. In addition, the claim that their son was educated at the Sorbonne is nonsense. He took his BS in India and a few graduate courses at the Sorbonne in Paris and McGill University in Montreal, but never got a graduate degree from either place. These are the facts. After I returned to New York, and I had to go stay with my mother because there was no other place to live. However, when I went to the temple to see Gopal Krishna, he bluntly informed me that he had no objection if I had an abortion. See how these guys are just pure hypocrites. They're just pure hypocrites. What the hell? I thought. I was aghast and told him so. The dhoti-clad goblin wanted me to kill our unborn child, and I was already more than 4 months pregnant. I told him to go to hell in no uncertain terms. She probably said, go to hell. Unfortunately for me, the effects of the ill treatment I had been suffering for so long caught up with me, and before long I was doubled over in pain with such severe gastrointestinal agony that I initially thought was dysentery from my India trip, but as the tests I underwent proved, were entirely due to extreme stress and misery. It got so bad I was hospitalized. So it goes on and on. Okay, so I just want to say this one thing. I want to finish up with this. I didn't read the last couple of paragraphs. You can go to this webpage and find it and read it yourself if you want to. But she does say this, so I do want to read this because she left this here. It says, a personal note to my readers. A number of my readers have asked about my status as Gopal Krishna's wife, as if I have not made it perfectly clear in my essays about the subject that the so-called marriage occurred in 1970 and was a marriage in name only. We lived together for less than 3 years and were legally divorced in 1980. In case you lack the math skills of a small child, that was 41 years ago. Enough already. On a related matter, disciples and other admirers of Gopal Krishna Goswami might be interested to know that the honorific Goswami instead of Swami was applied to him in error. Of course, it doesn't help that he took the sannyas order from the convicted murderer Kirtanananda Swami. But it took place in 1981, a year after our legal divorce and 8 years after we had separated. Gopal Krishna had been single for years and was thus ineligible for the Goswami title. Furthermore, our so-called spiritual marriage was also invalid because he and others involved convinced me that our guru, Srila Prabhupada, had ordered me to marry him. Shortly thereafter, when the disgust and misery of associating with Gopal became insupportable, I got up the nerve to ask my guru if he had in fact ordered me to marry Gopal, and he denied having anything to do with it. You cannot imagine how shocked I was, but Gopal, being intent on using me to gratify his vile urges, had no intention of doing the decent thing and getting an annulment. So now, better late than never, you know the truth. And then she says, for more on this matter, you can see ISKCON Cult Unveiled blogspot. That's her other blog. There's been so many fraud gurus in Hinduism. I saw a movie called Maharaj, which is set in the 1800s when the British owned India. In there, the main guru of a sect had an early festival where a girl, eventually a social reformer, took the Maharaj to court and exposed his sexual abuse and got him arrested. I'm going to tell you, that shit goes on all the time in India. I mean, that goes on like every day, and every day in India. Some gurus being taken to court. But I know what you mean. It says my friend got in so much trouble after writing an email love letter to a monk who was leading her on and had a weakness for her. They were in love, but he got scammed and decided to report her. Yeah, because it's the woman's fault. It's the woman's fault from the beginning. So there's no way anything good's going to come from that. I mean, and because it's always the woman's fault, they can lie. They can straight up lie, and it doesn't matter because it's the woman's fault whether they lie or not. They could tell the truth, and it's still the woman's fault. Gopal Krishna could have went in there and told the truth, told Prabhupada, hey, Prabhupada, look, man, I don't like her. She's a real bitch. I don't want to be married anymore. She's pregnant, and I don't want the kid. I don't give a fuck about her. I beat her. I smack her around all the time anyway. We fight. I'm just a real asshole, and I don't want nothing to do with her no more. Prabhupada would say, okay, fine. I'll give you sannyas, leave her, take sannyas, and go preach in Bulgaria or go preach in wherever. Prabhupada wouldn't have given a shit. Prabhupada wouldn't have cared. They removed her from her service and almost kicked her out, treated her like she was a piece of scum. And that's what I'm saying. They treat women like a piece of scum whether they do something wrong or not. Women don't have to do anything to be treated like scum. So once they do something, it's all over. Like my daughter. My daughter didn't do anything. My daughter did not deserve to be treated the way she was treated. She was treated like she was the bad guy. And I was treated like I was the bad guy. They closed down the school. The school went through a whole renovation. They fired the teacher. They brought in a new teacher. They did a whole thing with the school. And made my daughter out to be the overdeveloping, oversexed 11-year-old girl. And if my daughter hadn't been in the school, none of this would have ever happened. Well, somehow it was my daughter's fault. It was my daughter's fault for being 11. And this guy molested her, so it was my daughter's fault. And it was my fault for going to the police because, hey, you're not supposed to go to the police. Women are at fault before they even do anything. My grandma follows a guru. I'm not sure his name, but my grandma is extremely devoted to him. I just hope he's also not a fraud. I got bad news for you. Now, the only good news is how much of a fraud is he? Is he a big fraud or is he just a little fraud? So that depends on how much he wants from her. If he wants a lot from her, he's a big fraud. If he just wants a little bit from her, then he's probably a little fraud. He can be a little fraud. He could be like a priest in a church. She doesn't really need him. But he's there. He's there if she got a question. He's there if she wants to talk to him, he's there. But not like he's her whole life. You know, she got to pray to him before she puts her clothes on. She got to pray to him when she takes a drink of water. She got to offer her food to him. She got to offer flowers to him and incense to him. She got to say prayers to him and do all of that shit. He's a fraud. He's a big fraud. But if he's just like, hey, I'm gonna, and then that's it. He cuts her loose. No big deal. But I'm sorry to say, sounds like she's in a cult. Oh yeah, just another sad story of people getting chewed up and spit out by this cult. Chewed up and spit out by this cult. People come to this cult looking for some kind of spiritual guidance or spiritual journey, spiritual growth. I want to become a better person. I want to become a happy person. I want to become a more loving person. I want to learn how to love more. And I want to just, I see the flowers and the thing and all this stuff. And it's just, I want to become happy and do this yoga or whatever. And they don't expect all this fucking mental distress and mental anxiety and all these rules and all these things and all of this stuff. It is over fucking whelming. I just want to be happy. I just want to come to the temple and be happy. I hear the bells and the ringing and the chanting, and I want to be happy and I want to go. And now, the more I want to be happy, the more time I spend here, the more I want to pursue this happiness, the less happy I am. It becomes a chore. It becomes a mental chore and mental blackmail and emotional blackmail and spiritual blackmail. And I'm in anxiety and I'm depressed and I'm miserable and nothing's making me happy because all this bullshit. You go to the Hare Krishna temple, you're never as happy as the first day you go. The first day you go, you're really happy. You're like, wow, look at all of this stuff. The flowers and the statues and the chanting and oh my goodness, this is so wonderful. You're never going to feel that again. Because the longer you stay in, that feeling goes away. And all the bullshit is what you're left with. I'm sorry for your daughter, Mike. You're a great father for doing this, speaking the truth boldly and loudly, protecting others from getting their lives destroyed in this cult founded by a criminal. Absolutely, I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to give back. Trying to warn. I'm trying to give back because I know so much, and it's like I can't just keep it all up here. I can't just keep it all up here. That's wrong. That's just wrong. I'd be complicit in hiding what I know, and I can't do that. I don't mean like she's that devoted, but she just offers a little bit of flowers to him alongside other guys. I think the guru is dead though. Yeah, that sounds like, that's harmless. That's like what my friend does in India. He's got a little picture of his guru and doesn't take up any of his time, doesn't take up anything like that. That's more normal than what these freaks are doing. What these freaks are doing is totally abnormal. What your grandma or whatever is doing that's normal. There ain't nothing wrong with that. It doesn't sound like anything wrong with that. What does it say? Thank you, Mike. You're a hero to those of us who are wounded from this cult. You're the only one offering real support and healing. Well, thank you, because I noticed that because when I came, I got involved through Scientology, and I noticed that Scientology had this whole kind of like movement around protesting Scientology, those that were in it, those that are out of it, and teaching and raising awareness. And when I started looking for the Hare Krishna version of that, there was none. And I was like, where is the Hare Krishna version of the Scientology support group? Support group, exposing, talking about it, raising awareness, all of these things. It wasn't. Now, I did find some videos, like I show. There are videos out there, but I couldn't find anybody who was doing what I'm doing right now. So I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I've been doing this for like over a year. And the first, 6 months were pretty rough, but nobody was really watching or anything. Nobody knew I was doing it. And then the last 6, 7 months or so, it's really kind of taken off. And it's really, in the last 3, 4 months, it's really, really gone off. So it's my pleasure and I enjoy it. I enjoy what I'm doing. May I ask what happened to your daughter? My daughter's fine. She's grown. She's adult. She's fine. She's 100% fine. So, in fact, I didn't even bring up my daughter for a long time because that's her story. That's her story. She's an adult and that's her story. If she wants to tell it, she can tell it. But I kind of danced around it because it's an important part of who I am and why I'm doing this. So I kind of danced around it for a while. I would say, something happened to me, and one day I might talk about it, and then I mentioned to my daughter that I was doing this, and I said, "Is it okay if I say something about it? Can I, And she said, "Hey, you can talk about it all you want." She didn't care. She's like, "That's fine. I don't care. You can talk about it. You can." So then I just said, "Okay, I'll explain what happened, and if anyone asks, I'll explain." So she's totally adjusted. She's totally okay. She's totally fine. And she's going to be 40 next year. So she's a grown adult, and she's not a Hare Krishna. She hasn't been a Hare Krishna since she was like 12. She hung out for like another year, and then she said, "Dad, I don't want to do this no more." And then that was it. So I'm gonna finish up. I wanted to show. So we get this picture of this cult, how they treat women, abusive towards women, children, abusive towards children, obviously, abusive towards everybody. May I ask what happened to your daughter? My daughter was abused at the school. She was 11 years old, and some creepy old guy who worked in the school was touching her and feeling on her, and and she didn't know how to deal with it, and she didn't want to tell me. She was afraid of what was going to happen, and finally she told one of her friends, and then with a friend told the teacher, and then the teacher told me, and then I told the police, and it was a whole big thing. I'll talk about it again one day. So that's what happened. But speaking about how it's abusive towards women, abusive towards everybody, it creates pedophiles and abusers. It grooms women into being subservient and being abuse victims. All of these things, all this mental illness, it does all of these things, and I can't stress enough how this cult gets to just go on as if none of this stuff matters. And so here we have on the Hare Krishna page, 4th annual Color Fest 2025 draws record crowd in Farmington Hills. And so let's see, where is this? 4th annual Color Fest, hosted by ISKCON, Farmington Hills, Michigan, right? On July 26th was a vibrant celebration of culture, devotion, and unity, drawing an unprecedented 1,200 participants, the largest turnout in the festival's history. Each year, attendance has steadily grown, making this event a cherished tradition for the congregation, the local community, and guests from across Michigan. The festival, held in the temple parking lot, offered a joyful experience of Indian culture. And like I said, there's no Indian culture. The chanting of the holy names and the essence of the bhakti tradition. Now, that's what they should have just put. They should have just put a joyful experience of India, a joyful experience of chanting the holy names and the essence of the bhakti tradition, because that's what it is. It's brainwashing. Cult brainwashing. Participants ranging from families to students, longtime devotees to first-time visitors, immerse themselves in color-throwing, high-energy kirtan and dancing to the beat of an incredible DJ-led soundtrack. Now, can I just point out? I want to point out. I want to point out that this is the exact type of festival that 13-year-old girl was taken behind the stage, up behind the stage on a dirt road and raped and left in the dirt. It was a festival just like this in West Virginia. And the guy who did the raping was the guy on stage. He got off the stage, found himself a little girl, 13-year-old girl. Hey, you want me to show you around? I can take you up. You ever seen around the back? I'll take you up around the back. I'll show you around the back. Oh, okay. He takes her around the back, takes her up into the woods a little bit behind the stage. She could still hear the festival. That's how close they were. She could still hear everything. And he raped her. He pushed her down and he raped her on the ground. Grown man, 13-year-old girl. Festival just like this. Festival just like this. He rapes her. Of course, she's 13. She doesn't know what rape is. She doesn't know what happened. She got semen on her. She got dirt and mud on her. She didn't know what happened. Because she doesn't know what rape is. He goes back and gets back up on stage. How fucking sick is that? How fucking sick is that? Hey, Das, thanks for coming. Come back next time and we'll do this again. We'll do this again. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, festival just like this. So I know what you're thinking out there. Oh, is it really dangerous to go to a festival like this? I don't know. Ask that 13-year-old girl. Ask her how dangerous it is to go to a Krishna festival. She was raped at one. These books are full of this shit, and then girls getting raped at their festivals, and you want me to act surprised? Guy's throwing a chair at his pregnant wife, and then he becomes a swami? And little girls are getting raped at their festivals, and you want me to act surprised? The founder of this friggin' cult was 22 years old, had sex with an 11-year-old girl, said, I didn't even love my wife. I was going to marry someone else. That's how little respect I have for women. I raped an 11-year-old girl. I didn't fall in love with her, and then I was going to go find someone else. I was going to find some other little girl to have sex with. My father told me, no, don't do that. And then you want me to be surprised that some 13-year-old girl is raped behind their friggin' festival stage by the guy leading the singing? By the guy leading the singing. Those of you in the Hare Krishna movement, those of you ex-devotees and devotees out there, you know that you don't just get to lead kirtan. It's not just anybody gets to lead kirtan. You don't just walk into the temple and go up and start leading the kirtan at a festival. That's a position. That's a kirtan leader does that. That's a kirtan leader does that. Someone who has experience doing that. Someone who leads kirtan all the time. The LA temple, they had like maybe 4 or 5 kirtan leaders who would lead kirtan in the temple room or at the festivals. Then you just get walk up and just start leading, especially at a festival. They just let anybody just start leading the kirtan? No, they don't let anybody start leading the kirtan. That person was known. People know who that person was. And everybody knew who that person was. And yet he still felt like, hey, I can just go rape this girl. I can go find me a little girl and go rape her behind the festival. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a fuck that he was the kirtan lead. It wasn't like just some random guy just walked in and was like, oh, let me go grab a little girl and go. No, this was the kirtan leader. He knows all the prayers. This was Guitar George. He knows all the chords. This was the kirtan leader. He knows all the prayers. But evidently the prayers don't work, because as soon as he was done singing them, he went and raped a little girl. Not even a grown woman. He didn't have the balls to rape a grown woman. He took a little girl. He wasn't going to rape somebody who was going to fight him off. He wasn't going to rape an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old. Some woman, some grown woman who was going to scream and yell and kick him and punch him, fight back. He wasn't going to do that. He took a little 13-year-old girl. Didn't know what was happening. One that he could manhandle. Push her down on the ground, lift her sari up, penetrate her, and get on with his business. She would leave her in the dirt. She's not even going to know what hit her, and she ain't going to say nothing. That's what he was thinking. He rapes a grown woman. She's going to fight back, probably scratch him in the face, maybe kick him in the balls, maybe scream and yell. Someone come over and see what he's doing and blow the whole thing. No, he didn't do that. He's smart enough not to do that. So you out there, you're going to tell me, well, Mike, every festival is dangerous? You're going to tell me every fucking festival is dangerous. This is a fucking dangerous ass cult. They abuse women. They abuse children. The guy throws a chair at his wife, and then he cons these people into making him a swami. I think throwing a chair at a pregnant woman kind of negates you from being a swami. I mean, I think that just wipes out all your swami-ishness. All your swami-ishness is just gone when you chuck a chair at a pregnant woman who happens to be your wife. Oh, wait, let me check the qualities of a guru. Oh, doesn't say anything about throwing chairs at pregnant women, so I guess that's okay. I don't see that on the list of things that gurus can't do. Swamis can't do. It doesn't say anything here on the Swami list that it doesn't say anything about throwing chairs at women. Nope. I guess that's okay. It's perfectly okay. I don't know what else to say, man. You got this festival here. You got a bunch of these festivals here. Drawn in the public so they can spread their piece of shit books with their pedophilia and their racism and sexism. And the city of Farmington Hills is like, well, oh, we didn't know anything about it. We just hand out permits for festivals. We don't check to see who's doing it. No, they got a temple. We figured they're okay. How are we supposed to know that little girls get raped at their festivals behind the stage? How are we supposed to know that? It's not like we can go on the internet and find out. It's not like we can go on the internet and look at their books and see what they have to say about homosexuality and rape and women having small brain. Like it's not like we can just look that stuff up. How are we supposed to know what's in their books? It's not like their books are online for everybody to see. It's not like there's videos on YouTube where people are talking about how this is a dangerous fucking cult. All you got to do is go to YouTube and type in ISKCON. You can read about their gurus raping little girls, hanging out with little girls, touching little boys, throwing chairs at their wives. Little girls getting molested behind the stage. You know, little thing called the, internet, Google, Yahoo. Remember that? Prabhupada was aroused by an 11-year-old child, pure devotee, demon of demons, spreading his fake poison by his fake gurus and destroying lives. Howard Johnson, you bring up a great point, and I can't even. It's a weird thing to think about, but I'm going to think about it, and then we're going to call it. We're going to end it. I don't know. I know it's pedophilia. I know it's pedophilia. It's like a mental illness. It's like there's something wrong with a man who gets aroused looking at children. Normal men don't get aroused looking at children. It's not normal. And to think that Prabhupada had sex when he was a 22-year-old man, and he had an 11-year-old girl, and he took her hand, and she cried, and he got an erection, and he had sex with her. That's just really weird. It's just really weird that he was able to get aroused at the thought of having sex with an 11-year-old girl. Like he got sexually stimulated, and he was able to perform because he was aroused. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. It's beyond what's up here in this head. But for Prabhupada, wasn't an issue. The cold, raw truth. It is. I never thought of it that way. I mean, I always knew he was having sex with an 11-year-old girl. He was 22. She was 11. They had sex. I got that. Obviously you got to be erect to have sex. I understand that. But I never really thought of how he's getting aroused, how it's turning him on. I mean, I never thought about the whole thing. I don't want to think about it, but I'm doing it because of this show. The how he was feeling sexually, getting sexually stimulated, sexually turned on, sexually aroused because he had an 11-year-old girl there, and he took her hand, and he's about to, got to end it there. We got to end it right. We got to end it right. We got to end it right here. This is the end. We got to end it right here. That is the cold, harsh reality, man. You talk about harsh realities, man. That is the want to throw up right now. Absolutely, it is. We got to end it. We just got to end it. And that's why I'm saying these freaks want to overlook that. They want to go, oh, no, man. Don't think about it too hard. Just think about it hard enough to realize what's going on. Okay? Just think about it just hard enough to realize what's going on. Don't think about it too much. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. I know I'm over already, but you know what? I'm gonna give the wheel a spin. I'm gonna give the wheel a spin. I'm gonna keep it short, but I'm gonna give the wheel a spin so we can get that nasty taste out of our mouth. We got to get that nasty taste out of our mouth. Let's see what we can do here. We're gonna end up on something fun. Something fun. Let's see what we can do here. I was able to add some names to this wheel, so it got a lot of names on here. And let's see where we can go with this. And we're gonna give it a spin. Even got the wisdom of the sages on there. I got Anutama and I got Badri Narayan added. Let's see where we're gonna go. Oh, Shivaram, swimmer pod, yes. Okay, let's remove him from the list now. Let's see if we can get him. We can't get him removed. I'll remove him later. Okay, so, oops, let's go to, let's take a look at this Shivaram character. Just a real quick look at what this guy's got to do. I know we've watched him swim. We've watched him swim, and here he is. Here's his YouTube channel. Look at this guy. What a joke. What a joke this guy is. So, Holy Name Weekend. Let's see. He did the thing on the swimming. He's so proud of that. He's so proud of his accomplishments in the swimming thing. Okay, let's look at this. This is going to be.
Hey, have you heard of eccentric strength training? It's definitely not this. This is a simple.
Haribol Maharaj. I don't know if it'll be a quick question, but I'm just hearing it sounds like we could use more cooperation between Sampradayas and between GBC and even between the youth we're labeled now. And so I'm just wondering, I always thought that Prabhupada had a gold standard that we could follow, and so to see that there's all this confusion and miscommunication, it's like blows my mind. Like I just thought it was all like laid out right there from Srila Prabhupada. And so I know we have the regs and we have the rounds. I'm just wondering how we can work together as a community, and then if we can have any influence or communication with the GBC or the people in charge, and just kind of get back to the basics, like what are we really supposed to be doing? And even asking the question, I know like always is to chant and read, and that's supposed to make everything better. And if our whole community is doing that, then Krishna should be blessing us and we're growing. So I'm just wondering if you can touch on the standard that Prabhupada left us.
All right, so what he's saying, the question is, basically, the question that he's asking this goofball here is, if we're chanting and reading and doing what we're supposed to be doing, why is there so many problems in ISKCON? Actually, that's the title of this video. But basically, that's what he's saying. He's saying, why is there so much confusion? What are we really supposed to be doing here? It sounds like these new people, these younger new people that they're bringing in, really don't know what's going on. Like, they seem lost. He seems lost. But anyway, let's see what this guy's got to say. I can Kali Yuga. It's Kali Yuga.
Like you say, when it comes to, regulated principles, chanting Hare Krishna, our philosophy, there shouldn't be much disagreement. I mean, there is, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that, but, with discussion that.
Let's see if he really says anything. I don't think he's going to really say anything at all. He's going to bring up Kali Yuga, and that's about it.
It'll be worked out. But a society, developing a whole social model, reestablishing a society that's based on very revolutionary values. That's not an easy thing, and that's been my experience. Is that when we were living in the temple, everything was very simple, and as things develop more and more, it becomes, all right, here's the temple president, and he's got this congregation. He's got call it a congregation. He has all these devotees living around. Well, he doesn't know what to do with them. Just basically doesn't know how to engage. It's not a sin. It's just sort of like a fact. Sometimes it's, above our head. It becomes quite complicated, and it takes time to actually work these out. So I'm saying Prabhupada did have a gold standard, but Srila Prabhupada was, also very sort of flexible. He used this word, all right, about Gurukula. This is our Gurukula experiment. So, what Prabhupada had different ideas, and
So he's been talking for a couple of minutes now. He hasn't said a goddamn thing. It sounds like he doesn't have an answer. It sounds like he doesn't even know what the question is. It sounds like he doesn't even. It just sounds like a bunch of. I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't even know what point he's trying to make.
how he would function. I don't have all the answers, but one thing for sure is that yes, you do need to be able to
What in
interact
God's
and
holy name are you
communicate,
blathering about?
with your leadership, your GBC, the GBC body, in terms of what is it that we're expecting. I've seen. I used to hear this for decades. I don't feel a connection with the GBC. Well, I know what it feels like. I don't feel a connection either. Now, am I supposed to? I mean, do you feel a connection with?
What is he saying? He's saying, I don't feel a connection with the GBC, but he is a GBC. He's a guru. He's like above the GBC. I mean, he's equal with the. If he's not on the GBC, which I guess he's not. If how can he say I don't feel a connection with the GBC? And yet he's a guru and he works under the GBC. And I don't understand what he's. I don't understand what. First of all, he's not saying anything. But what he is saying, like what he just said, is he said I don't feel a connection with the GBC. Like, how is that possible when you're a friggin' guru sitting there in orange lecturing all of these people? You're representing the GBC. You're representing ISKCON. You are ISKCON. Like, what the fuck is he saying? What exactly did he say? Nothing makes sense. Bunch of, yeah. The only thing that he said that made any sense is that he doesn't feel a connection to the GBC. That's the only thing that I heard that actually was pertinent and made. He started off by saying, "Well, when I was in the temple, it was really simple, and we did this, and then you have a temple president, which had nothing to do with anything." Not evolving 5,000-year-old experiment. Then he even had the nerve to call the Gurukula experiment. Yeah, let's experiment on all these poor little kids and see what happens when we put them in a boarding school with unqualified teachers and a bunch of hippie freaks. Let's brainwash hippie freaks. Let's see what happens. That'll be a fun experiment. Yeah, let's see what happens to these kids. Oh, gee, look what happened. 25 of them, 30 of them have committed suicide, and the other 450 are suing us for torture and sexual abuse. I guess that experiment failed. He is on heavy drugs, pill popping all day for his muscles and back pain. He even said he doesn't have the answers. He's pill popper pod. He's pill popper pod. Can you imagine a better life where you sit around popping pills all day, and then for a couple hours a day you go out and you sit on a little cushion. Everyone sits there in front of you like you're God. And you sit there and you talk in circles and basically say nothing. and everybody offers you prayers and tells you how great you are, your Guru Ji and Swami Ji and His divine grace, and call you all these names, His holiness, His grace, this, His holiness, that, and then and all your food is cooked for you, and you don't even have to wash your underwear. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do a goddamn thing. That's his life. He's just saying he feels no GBC connection to echo the question, showing how much he understands his disciples. I get it, but it doesn't make sense. He should be honest and say, well, I really am the GBC. I'm as good as the GBC to you, because GBC and Guru, he should be saying, look, if you don't feel a connection to the GBC, you can feel it through me, and I could be your mediator, because I'm your Guru. I'm more than your GBC. And I report to them and they report to me. So we're all like one big happy GBC family. So I don't want you to feel like you're disconnected to the GBC, because you're connected to me. And as long as you're connected to me, I will be your conduit to the GBC. So if you have any issues with them, just bring. No, he doesn't say that at all. He just says, I don't know. What the fuck? He's a holy man? You gotta be kidding me. He's a holy. He's sitting there talking like he's like fucking the manager of fucking Starbucks, like the district manager of Starbucks, talking to his crew. Yeah, I know sales are down this month, but I got to answer to the vice president too, and he can be a real pain in the ass too. So I'm sorry if we got to increase hours, and we're not giving you a cost of living increase this month, but I'm not getting a cost of living increase either. So I want you all to know that I'm really with you on all of this, and I'm really going to work my best to get you that 25-cent raise that you were supposed to get last year that you didn't get. I'm really going to work. That's what he sounds like. That's what this fucking freak sounds like. How sad to be sitting all heart and ears in the crowd, but their gurus cannot answer anything because they are wearing Emperor's new clothes. The entire thing is rigged from start to finish. Absolutely. He got no answers because there are no answers. There's all a bunch of bullshit. The question is, the real question, look, he should be asking me that question. He should be saying, hey, we're reading every day. We're chanting every day. We go to the temple every day. We do kirtan every day. We go on books distribution every day. We don't commit aparad every day. Why are there so many problems? Why are gurus falling down? Why are children being molested? Why are women complaining of abuse? Why are all these things happening? That's the question, right? That's the question, right? That's the question, right? I'll give you the answer. Because it's all a bunch of bullshit. Don't expect bullshit to work. That's the answer. That's why you guys don't get along. That's why Sampradayas don't get along. That's why he doesn't get along with the GBC. That's why you guys are unhappy with his answers to his questions. That's why he doesn't have answers to your questions. That's why his answers go around in circles. That's why his answers are a bunch of word salad. That's why he has no compassion. That's why he's got no empathy. That's why he's got no connection to you guys. Because there is no connection to you guys. He doesn't give a fuck that you guys are upset. He doesn't care that you guys are having anxiety or having any kind of issues with the community and your service and your books and all. He doesn't care about that. In fact, he couldn't care any less than how he cares right now. He just doesn't give a fuck because this is all bullshit. That's the answer. Are you happy? That's your answer. The answer to every issue facing ISKCON, the answer to every issue is, it's all bullshit. That's why. Why are the gurus falling down? Because it's all bullshit. That's why. Why were the children molested in the schools? Because it's all bullshit. That's why. How come we're not feeling any taste from all this service that we're doing? Because it's all bullshit. That's why. How come I'm not advancing in spiritual life? I chant my rounds and I do book distribution and I do all these things, but I still see all these problems in the movement, and it causes me issues. And why is that? Because it's all bullshit. And why do the women feel, why do women have to come together and form a group, like the Women's Vaishnava Association, and to get their issues heard? And why do women feel like they're, because it's all bullshit. Every question that you have, every single question that you have about why ISKCON is the way it is, the answer is it's all bullshit. He ain't in control of his senses. This guy ain't in control of his senses. He's just pretending. He's just a fraud like all the other ones. He can't be around women. The only place he can be around women is when he's sitting on that little chair and they're sitting down there and all of these men are in the room. Other than that, he didn't want to do anything to do with them. This is all a bunch of bullshit. He's looking forward to taking his next pill dosage to go to sleep in his comfortable bed, pretend he's God, representative by the next day. And as long as his bills are getting paid, his ego is stroked. Absolutely 100%, man. 100%. And every night when he goes to bed, he's like, I scammed him another day. I scammed him for another day. And in the morning, we're gonna pull the scam all over again in the morning. I'll have my prasadam. My servants will give me some fresh clothes to wear. I'll put on my clean clothes. I'll go down. I'll make my entrance. They're gonna throw flowers at my feet. I'll sit there. I'll say a little thing. Maybe I'll read a verse or two, and then I'm off to my room to go do whatever the fuck I want to do. While they're out there selling books and doing whatever they're doing, working their asses off. And then the cycle continues. And then I'll just going to wait until I do my swim again. And then I'll go swim in the Thames and have my swim. That's all. It's a big scam, big friggin' scam. Well, listen, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining in today. This has been a great show. We got to cover Gopal Krishna's piece of shit ass, and then we got to look at this fuck right here, this Shiva Ram crap. So we killed two fucking guru scams with one with one show here. And of course, Prabhupada, he's the main fraud in all of this, the main criminal in all of this. So again, I want to thank everybody. Thanks for joining in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button on my video. And remember, I'm over at the Substack. So if you could head over there, subscribe, that would be great. Get these videos out. I want to thank all the new people that joined in, man. This is a great thing. I can't believe how it's really, we're blowing up. And it's not just me, but it's you guys, because you guys really helped get this thing going today. You guys get it growing. And yeah, Dahlia Roberts, very true. Great class today. It was a great class seeing these guru scams. These not only exposing Gopal Krishna and the criminal that he was, but also the freaks that are still celebrating this guy's birthday with his pictures and the flowers and the whole thing. This is crazy. That's insane. That's insane in itself. That in itself is insane. So, yeah, ring the bell. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, I got to ring the bell. Absolutely. Ding. So, thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Again, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Here is me. Have a great day. Have a great night, great morning, great afternoon. And, of course, here's me with the closing credits, me being a Hare Krishna freak.